You're listening to Chillworthy,
a podcast where two best friends discuss mysteries, murders, and anything in between for your enjoyment.
So if you're ready to hear some chilling and unsettling cases, you're in the right place. Happy listening. Hello everyone, this is Brent in editing mode. I just wanted to let you guys know that as we began our podcast this time, Talia neglected to turn her microphone on. So there is a few minutes of me talking, and you can barely hear her in the background because it's being picked up by my microphone. However, in a interest in keeping our authenticity, we made the decision to just leave in the mishap. However, I do promise that she does eventually turn her microphone on at my request pretty early on, so fear not and enjoy the episode. Hello, chillers, and welcome back to another episode of Chillworthy.
Hi, everybody.
With your hosts, Brent and Talia. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
You sounded like you were in a Western or something for a second.
A spaghetti Western.
At the OK Corral. I still remember that episode of Rugrats where they were at a playground, and then in Tommy's imagination, it was like the Wild West.
Yeah, I hated that shit. I loved that show though, but I didn't like when they got off track.
So today's episode is going to be about a location, specifically a road.
Ooh.
Right, so it's not really about a person or a case. It's more just like urban legends that are very
change
of pace.
Yes.
But speaking of a road, before I wanted to tell you this, it was a few nights ago, I was on YouTube, and one of the suggestions that YouTube gave me, and I gotta say I thought it was a very nice idea, was, I guess somebody took like a GoPro or something, they put it like on their chest, or however they wear cameras nowadays, I don't know. Right, or maybe even in the glasses, they have the smart glasses, who knows? But the point was that they had it on them, and it's literally, I want to say, a 50-minute video of them walking the streets of Salem at 3 a.m.
Oh, God.
Just alone. Like, everything is peaceful and quiet. I know it's not supposed to be scary. It's just, it's not supposed to be a creepy video. It's kind of like a relaxing ASMR type of video where it's like, you can hear their footsteps. They walk past like the closed shops. You see it's like you get to see Salem when nobody's around, I guess is more so the point. Okay. So it has I didn't get like a freaky vibe from it. I just got it's like something you wouldn't normally see because most people don't live in Salem. Most people aren't walking around at 3 a.m. in Salem. It just, I don't know. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I just felt like it was just kind of like a cute idea for if somebody wanted to kind of zone out for a while, and maybe you put it on the TV and you're just like laying down, or you're texting and that's in the background. It just seemed like a nice, I don't know, thing to fiddle with.
So speaking of watching things, you said you went to the movies recently. Do tell about that. What was that? Spooky? Question mark.
Yes, I went to see Longlegs recently, which was with Nicolas Cage.
I've never heard of that. Well, I've never heard of the movie. I've heard of him. I know who he is.
Yes.
Face Off. God, I was obsessed with that movie as a child. John Travolta, did you ever see it?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't think it's necessarily that great, to be honest. I'm not quite sure. My gosh, I was obsessed. I watched it incessantly as a child. Very disturbing and strange concept, but boy, was I sucked in.
Well, you like what you like.
Right. But continue the movie, yes.
Just so it was supposed to be like another Silence of the Lambs, like the same type of genre, female FBI agent chasing a serial killer. It was very creepy. I liked the first 3/4 of it. I don't like the end. I feel like they cheated. I won't say why, but they just introduced a new aspect at the end that I did not go for.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's a bummer for the end.
But, yeah, the first 3/4, I mean, very creepy, and there were jump scares and that kind of thing, so.
Chillworthy.
Yeah, Chillworthy.
All right.
All
right. Speaking of just watching things, spooky things, something you said earlier when you gave the little summary of what your case, well, not case, but what you're going to talk about today with the location. I actually read a book recently called Murder Road, and it was good. The author is Simone St. James, which I've read a few of her books.
And she wrote something about a hotel?
Yes! It's called, let me think. It was actually my favorite one of her books. The Sundown, I'm almost certain, Motel. The Sundown Motel. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Oh, that's so interesting. Do you remember?
I didn't even finish it. What?
Yo, jeez.
Yo.
That is a slap in the face. To just be like, I can't even finish this. It's, yeah.
I don't like ghosts. They
well, that makes sense.
Don't do it for me.
Literally all
they
she
don't
writes
play
about.
by the rules. That's the thing. The ghosts don't have any rules. So I don't want it. I don't want it.
Okay. All right. Well, I see why then you didn't like it. And that's like every book that I've read of hers, I'm pretty sure that always goes in that direction of, hauntings and ghosts and whatever. So Sundown was definitely my favorite of hers. This one was good. It was like a little difficult for me to kind of get into the flow in the beginning. And then once though something clicked, and it was early on, then it like took off and I got through it quickly. It was very good. But that book is about this stretch of road that this couple kind of comes into unintentionally, and it's haunted and weird things happen on it, and it just made me think of what you said your topic is going to be.
Well,
in a nutshell.
Very similar.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of that, just doing our little typical disclaimer, I just wanted to say that in the age of the internet, there is a bunch of conflicting information out there.
Right.
So, while we have been researching, obviously we're going to come across things that may or may not be completely accurate.
Despite our due diligence.
All right, so let's jump right in then. My topic is going to be about a place or a road called Clinton Road.
Okay.
I've heard about this road many times before. It sticks in my memory.
How'd you hear about it?
Just around, I guess.
Out and about?
I wouldn't say out and about, more like in and about online.
Right.
But it's a road in New Jersey, and it just has so much urban legends connected to it, and just like very creepy stuff goes on, and it's a place I don't think I would ever want to drive down.
You're serious?
I am 100% serious.
Like broad daylight.
Right, yeah. And then I was also thinking in my head, if I was forced to, would I rather be the passenger or the driver? Because both are bad. The passenger, you have zero control, but then you can also like freak out as much as you want because you have no responsibility in driving. The driver, you have control, but if something goes on, something goes on.
Did we tell the story yet to the chillers?
We haven't, but I know what story you're talking about because as I was saying that out loud, we have experienced not a haunted road, but more so a passenger who had no control.
It might as well have been a haunted road.
Well, that's your thoughts on it. I don't know how do we want to take this?
I think I should lead and then you take over with what actually is occurring.
I'm not sure what that means, but I'll let you start.
Okay, thank you. So one evening I needed to just run out quickly for something, and I'm going to drive, and Brent comes with me. So we're out, and it's like Christmas time, and one of our friends, like, lived nearby, and Brent was like, well, what if we like stop over quick to see him? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So we get there, and it's like late, not late, but later. You wouldn't be necessarily out and about, out in your yard or something.
It was about 8:30.
Oh, I thought it was like 10 o'clock. But it was
winter. So
true, right.
It was still dark, I'll give you that.
Right.
I'm sorry, I think I have to take the wheel, no pun intended, because we got to talk about, like, even this neighborhood.
True.
It's a lovely neighborhood.
Yes. Nothing.
Like very, very nice homes.
Pristine.
Right. Very nicely decorated. We're not in Center City, Philadelphia or something, and which is where my friend lives. And obviously you interject anything you need to.
Right.
But when we got there.
Like literally in front of his
house.
Right.
Across the street. His house, he is somebody who has, like, I feel like a Hallmark Channel home. Like, you walk in there and it's sickeningly nice.
Even just walking towards it is gorgeous.
It's just a cute little
picturesque.
House. Right. So I think it was you who suggested, well, why don't we take a picture of his Christmas lights and, like, send it to him so, like, then he knows we're outside.
Surprise, we're here. Like, what the hell are you doing out there?
Right. So we do this. Now, Talia's driving, obviously. I'm the passenger. As we pull up to the area, we are on the opposite side of the street. And this is like a little street, doesn't even have a double yellow line in it, right? Like, it's a tiny little street in a tiny little neighborhood. So we pull up, and the house across the street, their light was on. I believe their garage door was up.
It sure was.
Okay.
Yes.
And what was there a person out there that we had already seen
sitting in a chair,
okay.
And you could see the little tip of their cigarette. They were smoking.
Oh, yes.
They were out there.
Okay,
yes,
so
we saw them.
Right. So we're, all of this sounds completely normal in my head. There's
and
nothing
mine,
wrong.
I guess.
So as we are, Talia, because she was obviously the driver, she was on the side that she was going to take the picture of his house. So she has her camera out. So all of her attention is to the left. So all of her attention is there. To the right is this house with the person sitting outside smoking a cigarette. Now, keep in mind that we parked in front of this person's house with our lights on. And we're just sitting there.
I actually, though, didn't even park. Like, I wasn't even up against the curb. I was double parked.
Yeah, right. It was like we were stopped. If anyone was suspicious, it was us. Right?
Like, that we looked suspicious.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So,
and I'm taking pictures, no less. Like,
of course, we looked. Yes, we looked very suspicious.
Back to this night.
So while Talia's taking the picture, I look out the passenger side window and I see the neighbor that we have now parked in front of his house, and we've been there for like over a minute now, and Talia's snapping pics. This neighbor starts walking over to the passenger window, and of course in my head I'm thinking, obviously, he's probably thinking we want him for some reason, because we stopped the car. He was already outside. None of this is mysterious on our end for him, but it seems pretty mysterious on his end for us. So all I did was say, hey, Talia, I think the neighbor... That's the entire sentence that I got out, the entirety of the sentence. I have never been more alarmed at and appalled, I would say, at the behavior that happened, because she threw, I want to say she threw her phone down. She put that car in drive so fast, and she sped off like a bat out of hell from that road. And all my could do was look apologetically at this man as my neck, like I was like almost turned like an owl at this point because I had like made eye contact with him, and then she took off like a bat out of hell. And I said, we can never come back to this street again.
Oh my God. In my car, you said
oh, that's right. In her car.
Oh my God. I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. In my defense, which I feel like this is just going to bolster your argument that we looked weird and this poor man is basically being victimized in his own neighborhood. When I took the picture and I like sensed movement and I look and I see him coming towards the car, I said to you, he has his flashlight on. He had the flashlight on his cell phone aimed at the car.
You didn't say that in the moment.
Oh.
You said that afterwards. You literally said nothing in the moment. It's like you completely shifted into pure survival adrenaline.
Yes.
And you left.
I was convinced I saved our lives, that he was going to do something to us, that he was going to like smash my window glass and like come and get us. But again, with the flashlight bit, I thought you were going to say, in response to what I just said, like, well, yeah, but we're the weird people in his neighborhood. Like, he's thinking, what are you doing in the car? Like, trying to get, like, an eye on things. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I just laughed so hard.
So, as you can see from that story, sometimes, as the passenger, you are helpless to go at the whim of the driver's neuroses.
I maintain I saved your life that night.
Well, here's the other thing, though, to also consider. I mean, imagine you from the viewpoint of that man. If we didn't already look suspicious, we sure as shit look suspicious when he very calmly starts approaching our car and we speed off like we just dropped a bomb somewhere and left. So
he had his flashlight on.
Well,
which I realize I'm processing that as if he had like a gun pointed at us, which is not the case. Oh my God, what a night.
What a night indeed.
Yes.
So, moral of the story is we never got to see our friend.
No.
So.
No, we did tell him the story though. We literally
absolutely.
Called him and
we called a few people, I think.
Yeah, we sure did.
Because we didn't go home right away. We just were laughing our ass off.
Yes.
After Talia calmed down. So, all right, shall we get into this case?
We shall.
So, like I said, this is going to be the case. Well, not even a case. This is just going to be stories, basically, of an urban legends of what this Clinton Road is. All right, so Clinton Road is located in West Milford County, New Jersey. No, I'm sorry. It's West Milford, Passaic County, New Jersey. So it generally runs in a north to south direction, and it begins at Route 23 near Newfoundland, and it runs about 10 miles. And I guess it stops, or like, you know, the road switches over at some place called Upper Greenwood Lake. So for anybody who lives in the area, now you know. And for everybody who doesn't, you still know. So now, right off the bat, there's one thing I'm just going to say that is Chillworthy to me right here, right now, which is I believe that there are actual residents still that live on this road. Very, very few people live on this road.
You're saying people have moved away because of what occurs?
No, I'm just saying that like there are very few sporadic like homes that still, I guess, exist and I believe are still inhabited on this extremely eerie, desolate road, and that creeps me out. Like,
Good for them.
I think there are abandoned homes also, but
Ooh.
I don't know. I've read that a couple of places that there's like a few homes, and I don't like that. Anyway, so there are a few houses along this road, but much of the land that this road goes through is woodlands, and it's either owned by the city of Newark or it's just considered state forest. So, and the road itself is basically just like a narrow 2-lane highway, and it does not receive a lot of maintenance, and it's not even part of New Jersey's county route system. Like I think it used to be a road that was more often traveled, and then another highway was built, and so it became like it's like a more inconvenient way to get anywhere because there's quicker ways, right. I guess. So, and actually until fairly recently, it wasn't even paved on some of it, but I guess it has been now. So it connects two areas of very low population, so it's very light traffic-wise, even in like rush hour and stuff. So it's always desolate is what I'm trying to say.
The road less traveled.
Yes. And it is actually notorious for having the country's longest traffic light.
Get out of here.
That's a fun little fact.
Jeez Louise. Well, nobody's on it, so I guess it doesn't really affect that many
but
people.
Apparently it's at one of the, there's like an intersection where Route 23 crosses it, and the two lights can actually make cars wait up to 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
That is not obviously a long time, but when you're sitting at a light.
Absolutely, right. Especially on a road nobody's on. And a creepy road.
I was just going to say that. Right.
Like in the middle of the night, and now you can't even drive for 5 minutes. You're just sitting there. Now, if a man came up to the window at that time, I wouldn't have faulted you at all for driving away.
Thanks.
So.
Well, this man, like I said, had a flashlight pointed at us.
He obviously had ill intent. So that's a description of the road. A little bit of the history is just that it got its name from the settlement of Clinton. And one of the things, like an actual case that actually did happen on this road, was on May 18th of 1983. The body of Daniel Deppner was found when a cyclist was riding down Clinton Road past a wooded area, which is most of the road. Let's, just to be clear. But this cycler spotted the corpse of this man being eaten by vultures.
Can you imagine coming upon that?
No. Oh. What are you doing riding your bike there in the first place? But that's just
my mind as well, but it's like good for him. The show must go on.
And maybe in 1983 it wasn't as historically creepy as it is now.
True.
I don't know, but I'm not driving a truck, a Jeep, or a bike down that road. So this body was wrapped inside of a green garbage bag, and medical examiners listed Deppner's cause of death as undetermined, although they did note that there were pinkish spots on his skin, a possible sign of cyanide poisoning. Oh. So, and Deppner was also strangled. And investigators guessed that Deppner had already been incapacitated, probably by this poison, because the partially eaten corpse had no defensive wounds, like the lady in the dunes.
Good call. Good call.
And the lack of defensive wounds in terms of the strangulation was actually sort of important, because I guess it's very rare that men, healthy men, get killed by strangulation.
Oh.
So.
I'm confused why the cause of death was inconclusive for him then, because they didn't know what came first, the strangulation.
Right, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Right, or the cyanide poisoning.
Right, okay.
When they examined his stomach, it was full of undigested food, indicating that he had died shortly after eating, or potentially even during the meal. And I guess I don't even know how you cyanide poison someone. Do you put that in food?
I thought that was a food, like it was commonly done that way.
Okay. Well, I don't know, but the only other thing to report about that was that inside of his stomach there were some beans that he had eaten that were burned. So they reasoned that wherever he was eating was like a home-cooked meal versus like being out at a restaurant.
Very fascinating conclusion. Good
because
call.
Most restaurants, I guess, would not just be serving like burned beans.
Also odd, I have burnt beans before, and I just don't eat them. I don't like them.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Fascinating. Fascinating that he ate them. Waste not, want not.
So, like I said, this is not a case about him, but this was something that happened on this road, and they do know who killed him.
Oh.
His name was Richard Kuklinski. He was charged and convicted of this murder, and this guy was actually known, I guess, as the Iceman.
Like the cheese man.
Absolutely. And he has a history of people that he's killed. How many people do you think he's killed? Now, this is roughly.
Okay. I mean, are we talking like he's a serial killer?
I would say so.
I'm going to go with 12.
Okay. 200.
Stop it.
So, I'm thinking of a potential episode to do a deep dive on him.
Absolutely.
But anyway, this is not about him,
Right.
but it just shows that we don't only have stories of like folklore, urban legends, but literal shit goes down on this road also. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that there is a part about this where they talk about how some of the people from New York who were like involved in like the mob or, you know, stuff would try to dump bodies in Clinton Road or in or on around Clinton Road because there was this conception like, well, if we dump the bodies here, then it's not going to be the New York police who are investigating. As like I think
and like
that's
familiar with them.
Right. I still think that's kind of like, it's not like the New Jersey people would be like, oh, well, this can't be from New York. So, but that's just me.
Impossible.
Okay. So anyway, those were some of the things like true crime wise, like that's something that happened there. But it's much more known for its folklore, urban legend things. So now in the research that I did, obviously, especially with urban legends, there's all these different types of like versions. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you the versions that I heard and we'll go from there.
Yeah, tell us.
So the first one is the one that I think is the most popular, which involves the ghost of a little boy.
Oh my gosh.
And it basically happens at a bridge. Now, there are 2 bridges on Clinton Road, because there's a water reservoir that runs along it and through it. From what I saw, no one's actually sure which of the 2 bridges this story originated from, which leads me to believe that you could still do it at either bridge, what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, okay.
So there's this legend that says when you're driving on Clinton Road, you'll come up to a bridge, and it's like a very sharp turn, I guess, called Dead Man's Turn, which of course is very accurate, I guess. So like I said, there's a bunch of versions about what actually happens, but from what I gathered, if you stop, which I'm already out, I'll stop you right there. I'm not stopping anywhere. I know I said I wouldn't be on the road, but if
you were,
you kidnapped me, as you've talked about before, and taken me to this road, like we're not stopping somewhere.
Real quick, related, unrelated, do bridges bother you?
No.
Yeah, like ever.
No.
Like Big O's.
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
Do they bother you?
I don't love them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think they bother me at all.
Well, good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's very freeing.
Interesting word choice.
Well, because I can go anywhere I want.
Like a bird.
Bridges don't scare me.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So anyway, okay, so from what I gather, somebody takes some change, a handful of change, a quarter, a nickel, whatever. You get out, you stand at the bridge, and you're supposed to, I guess, toss this penny, nickel, whatever, into the river/water reservoir.
All right.
And then you're supposed to just wait a few minutes, it says. Which insanity.
I don't wanna.
No, I don't want to either. After a few minutes, it's reported by many, many, many people that you will hear the change fall back onto the road behind you. I just gave myself chills. I am serious. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I mean, but my curiosity is piqued, dare I say. Like, part of me is like, show me. Like, I want to give this a go. Like,
good. Well, I'll see you later. Now, I have heard other stories where you throw it into the water, and then you get back in the car, and then you'll hear it clink on the top of the roof.
No, thanks. For some reason, now that pushes me over the edge.
I was just going to say, I just gave myself chills again. Like, ugh. So, yeah, something about that is just very creepy. And I guess the story behind it is just that, like, I guess this little boy who I don't think there's any kind of evidence he ever existed to begin with.
So there's no name?
No. But it's just supposed to be a little boy. I put that in air quotes because I don't know, but who like either accidentally drowned or he got hit by a car there. So something tragic was supposed to have happened there. And so, people say that that's like, he like plays those games, and or I guess there's one other story where like if you are standing there and you're looking into the water, he will push you in to get you out of the way of the road so you don't get hit. Now, again, if that's true or if it's ever happened, I don't know, but that's why it's an urban legend.
Right.
So another popular one is a story about a ghost car, and this basically involves a Camaro. It's a Camaro that just drives back and forth on this road, and it's supposedly driven by a woman who was killed in 1988. And I guess it only manifests itself when it's mentioned by somebody who's on the road already.
Huh.
So like, oh, I wonder if we're going to see the ghost car.
There she is.
Right. I, again, don't like that.
That immediately made me think of, when you said ghost car, initially of the taxi in Halloween Town that's driven by the skeleton.
Benny. Benny's boy.
Oh my god.
So that's a very quick one. Although that one creeps me out a lot less than the ghost boy.
I agree. I just sort of don't believe.
Well, that's fine.
The car as much. I'm not saying it's not a thing, but it's harder for me to grasp that possibility.
Okay. The next one, they tell a story about some people who were out on this road, and they were, I guess, like kind of, because like I said, this is a lot of state land and stuff, so they were kind of hiking and exploring the area, and they wanted to, for whatever reason, sleep out there. Insanity. And they came across, I guess, 2 park rangers, and they decided they were going to ask them if it was okay to sleep out there and, park where they were parked and whatever. So apparently they talked to these people, the park rangers, and they said, like, yes, you're fine to stay here, or like wherever you are. So then the next day when they woke up, there was a police car who was there writing a ticket for the car that they had. And so they were like confused because they had obviously got permission the night before. So then they went up to the cop and they just explained to them that they said, we were here yesterday. We were given permission by these park rangers. And then the police officer, obviously confused, said that there haven't been park rangers out here in a very, very long time.
Now that gives me the chills.
Chillworthy.
Yes.
And then the people apparently gave, I guess, these park rangers were, I don't know what the description was, but maybe it was like easily recognizable. I don't know if they had a certain, like if they had like red hair, or one of them had like curly hair, like, but something about it, like when they gave the description of the park rangers to this guy, he said that he had heard about these 2 park rangers who had died back in the 1930s.
Jeez.
And how these 2 hikers would have known about these 2 people, and then like, what a bizarre thing to just make up just so you can sleep in the woods.
Exactly. Exactly. So. I thought you were going to say either that, where it was like 2 people who matched a description who probably like wouldn't still be living, or that it was 2 imposters that were dressed up as park rangers, but they didn't do anything. So obviously it was leaning away from that theory, but very disturbing.
Then I guess another one of these urban legends is that there is people call it a druid temple that is out there. Huh. So this says that there's this old stone structure that's somewhere on this road, and that this is a place where druids apparently would gather, and they would practice all of these like rituals and I want to say sacrifices and just a lot of creepy stuff. And people were warned to stay far away from that specific location as, quote unquote, bad things would happen to people who went looking for trouble. Close quotes.
Yikes.
Now, in reality, though, the remains of what people are claiming was this Druid temple were actually a smelting plant from 1826, which doesn't negate the fact that weird people could be doing weird things there.
Of course.
But it wasn't actually a Druid temple, from what I read, allegedly.
Right.
There's another car story that's involved in the next urban legend, because I guess it's been reported many times that if you're driving on the road... I'm watching you over there play with your hair. I thought you were giving me the middle finger for a second because you were like wrapping it around your finger, and I was like, I guess you're bored over there. So it's been reported that people who are driving on this road, you'll start to see headlights coming from behind, and these headlights basically appear to come out of nowhere. They get closer and closer pretty damn fast, and they're apparently connected to a truck that will try to run you off the road. At the very least, not saying like kill you, but have you get off or pull over, and they like drive by, but it's like very aggressive. And apparently this happens on a fairly regular basis where people just report this. I don't know if they're reporting it to the police or what, but
that sounds absolutely terrifying.
Mm-hmm. And there are people who say, so first off, a lot of these stories can be found on Weird New Jersey, that website. Like, I think they have weird everything.
Oh, okay.
Like weird Pennsylvania, weird Alaska, weird California, but like where they specialize in like the urban and spooky legends. So if anybody wants to take a deeper dive into any of these, like you can go to the Weird New Jersey site and look. But there are people who talk about that because of how famous this road is and how all these legends happen around it, that people say that just like locals, just to mess with people, will just do this stuff. Like if they're bored, they'll just...
Jokesters.
Right. Like whether it's drive these cars or every once in a while, I guess like potentially dress up in weird outfits and just kind of walk around just for shits and giggles.
Which kind of annoys me. I get why they do it, but it kind of annoys me because then I feel like it's hard to kind of parcel out what is actually a paranormal experience and what is not. Like, I don't like that they're interfering.
Well, yeah. Right. And then the last one, which does, I don't know, it does creep me out a little, is I guess there's also a legend that there used to be a wildlife park there.
Oh.
And it was either a wildlife park, I think that's what it was, but something happened where it like either was going bankrupt or something, and so they had to close it down. And the legend says that they just released these animals, and some, like, they, instead of like rehoming them or giving them to other zoos, they just let them go. And these animals some of them have survived in this state land for decades, and their offspring and stuff. But it's like monkeys, and I know you don't like monkeys.
They are my least favorite.
I mean, I think little marmosets and things are adorable, but I know you don't like anything that resembles, I think, a human. if I were to guess.
I don't have an issue with lemurs. I mean, I don't think lemurs are terribly similar. They are, but
Ish.
Not in the same. Right.
Similish.
Similish. And not that I even lemurs are okay. I think lemurs are adorable. I have zero issue with them. I think they are one of the cutest animals, cutest faces, their little hands and feet. But yeah, monkeys, no thank you.
So I think that that's very creepy. So they talk about the fact that these animals were released, and now there's mutations because of inbreeding and stuff like that, and that they're just out there,
yikes,
roaming the woods. These I picture some type of almost half gorilla, half baboon thing, and that definitely freaks me out.
Makes me think of...
at night in the mist.
Ugh, no.
So
gross. That made me think of Dorothy and how the episode where they all die and they have their heads and they talk about how they all died.
Oh, yeah. Doink, doink.
I think hers was the stupidest.
It was ridiculous.
Especially for her. It was so poorly thought out. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's what I have. I mean, those are the urban legends of this. I mean, you can obviously go on to a website like Reddit and hear people's personal experiences, and they tell their creepy stories, and like those are very interesting to read. But I was just trying to get the generic, most popular, like ones that have just been popularized, because what I would assume is there have been reports of these weird sightings.
Like multiple.
Right. Yes. And things like that. So, but I am telling you, the idea of being out on that road creeps me out.
It makes me very curious. I would not want to be out there at night, but during the day, like I would like to look at it. I want to look on Google Maps. Did you do that to see what it looks like?
You know, I did not. And I think I'd like to do that right now. So stay tuned a second.
Okay.
All right, so I did look it up, and I just texted it to you. Just a random spot on the actual road.
Not at all what I was expecting. Just any other road.
Right.
Dare I say beautiful. I mean...
Well, it's state lands.
True. Also, I'm going to be partial to all of this because it's clearly... It was taken in the fall. So there's that.
Well, I just found another Google one that was from the summer, so I'll send you that one. But I almost want to say summer is even more beautiful. So yeah. But keep in mind, I mean, imagine that at night, though. Like that's, heavily forested.
Yeah, and it's curvy. Now, riddle me this.
Hence Dead Man's Curve.
Now, that link didn't work, but I'm looking myself at the different dates. Did you click on August of 19 or June of 09 for your second set of pictures? Because I'm looking at August of 19, and you can see all that water. But yes, I mean, like you said, also beautiful in the summer. I was just pointing that out because of the water that you could see.
Right. So anyway, and I do think that I think it is a popular destination for hikers, like the surrounding things. So I don't know. I'm just saying, I just get, and it purely not because I've ever been there, but just really get weird vibes from it, and I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say on that.
Well, this was very refreshing, totally different kind of topic. And deep dive on something that we haven't done, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting words for the chillers?
I don't, besides, and as always, stay safe.
And stay chill. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
You've just listened to Chillworthy. Thank you for joining us on this latest episode. While we strive to keep our discussions engaging and lighthearted, we also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the real lives and events that are at the heart of these stories.
We try to approach each topic with a sense of curiosity and respect, fully aware of the impact these events have had on the individuals and their loved ones. Our goal is to honor their memories by keeping their stories alive and shedding light on the mysteries that surround them.
If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, and don't forget to join us on the next episode of Chillworthy.